So I don't know if it'll work out for me, but I think I am being successful. I think I have largely exposed the coup attempt within. I've kind of tiered out MAGA. I see it in 3 levels: elite MAGA, which I already told you I think is captured, and then middle MAGA, and then normie MAGA. And I think that middle MAGA, I think middle MAGA is starting to wake up very quickly to there being a serious problem. And
Mm.
since they are the overwhelming workhorse of the MAGA phenomenon, not its celebrity tier, I have a feeling that there will be some kind of a rupture later, but rather than it tearing MAGA apart, as I previously feared, I think what it will be is that the kind of elite woke right bubble will separate and go off and pop.
Mhm.
Um, I think that that's been kind of the best I can hope for. And every time I mull it over, don't tell anybody or pray about it. I just keep thinking, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Mhm. Mhm. Do you think that the Trump administration is aware of this threat? I presume that they probably are, but can they see it with this level of clarity and resolution?
They are, I think, aware of it to a degree. I don't know if they know how serious it is. I do not think they have a high level of clarity about it or precision about it. I have very strong reasons to believe that they are aware of it and that they are at least concerned by it. It's best that I not talk about those reasons.
Mhm.
But it's certainly also the case that I'm still completely blacklisted from the White House. So it's not like they're inviting me over for meetings.
Mhm. Well, if someone in the administration should happen to listen to this interview, and you could give a message to them about this, because I agree with your analysis and I agree with your assessment, what would you have to say to them?
I am very afraid that all this radicalism we're at a very dangerous point. First of all, what I would say is there's no easy way out. We've waited too long. Um, to speak up about this will cause a, bomb to go off, basically, that will fragment the
Yeah.
movement, the MAGA movement at this point. There's no way for that not to happen. It's been too big and too entrenched. But hopefully with savvy action, and it has to be done earlier rather than sooner, or rather than later. It has to be done as soon as possible because the midterms put a deadly stopwatch on this whole thing. The administration is going to have to start setting very clear tones and very clear indicators that it is not with these radicals, without necessarily, pushing down the plunger on the dynamite and just blowing it all up. So how that's to be done with savvy, I'm less clear, but it's going to have to actually be very clear to start distancing itself from the radicalism that's already done so with the anti-Semitism, obviously, but with the racialism, the the rampant us versus them mentality. Uh, it's going to have to start setting some lines. It's going to have to do it in a savvy way. Like I said, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. And the closer to the midterms you get, the more likely you are you're going to lose them completely. We are rapidly approaching the date. I don't know when that date is, where one of two things, there are 2 dates actually. One of the dates is where you're not going to win the midterms.
Mhm.
Republicans are going to lose
Mhm.
badly, and there will be no saving it after some point. And secondly, um, so you're playing a game of chicken against the clock right there. Secondly,
Yeah.
things happen. So as we saw with that Shiloh woman who called the child by a racial slur and became a cause celeb through the woke right and other parts of the right, in a kind of very ugly way, uh, in order to defy the left, allegedly, but it was clearly not just to defy the left. There were
Mhm.
many people who were making it about being racist as well. Um, Sooner or later, I mean, that's like Breonna Taylor dying with the left back in 19 or 20, whenever that happened, and they were looking for their George Floyd, and so Trad Floyd is coming. So some event is going to happen at some point that's going to cause the woke right to go absolutely ballistic, the way that the left went ballistic after George
Mm.
Floyd. The energy is there. The consolidation of power is there. That's how you take the revolution in stages from stage 2 to stage 3 and consolidate power over the entire movement and jettison everybody else. And so that moment is coming. They are looking for that moment, I think, is what the Shiloh story proves. And when it comes, if we are unprepared for it, MAGA will be ripped to pieces and everything will be in disarray. And it would be very, very wise for people, especially even in the administration, to have thought about and prepared for that contingency, which they will not likely be able to control the timing of because it will happen off of some event that's more than likely organic. So tough times are coming, tests are coming, and the administration should, and also everybody around in MAGA should be aware that these things are happening
Mhm.
and that these threats are looming and they are real. And if we sleep on this, that we're going to find ourselves in trouble.
Mhm. Yeah, if the assessment and the diagnostics that you provided throughout this whole conversation are real, what you're describing is the logical conclusion of that. I think the tricky part is, and maybe you can speak to this, is how to back away from these elements without being like, "You're tacking to the left," because that's what happens. As soon as you try to back away from the more radical elements on the right, you get accused of going left, which technically is true, but not in an objective sense.
No, actually, you can just be standing still. You can even
Um,
actually move right technically while still opposing radicalism. I think that the way that we have to do this is by appealing to the founding principles of the country. I kind of see three
yeah.
paths. You could say there are four, but there are really three. But I'll say four paths. And these paths are: you can firmly advocate for the founding principles of the country. You can weakly advocate for the principles of the country. You can go left, or you can watch the right take over. And the radicals, I mean, we can either go radically left or go radically right, or we can weakly or strongly articulate for and defend the principles of the country. Weak is not really an option. That's why I said there's three, but not four. If you to just be weak about it is to pick whichever one of the right or left is stronger. In this case, I think it's the left. Um, so you can't weakly articulate the principles of the country. You can stand firm in them, or you can watch everything bend left, or you can watch everything bend radically right. And I think that the necessity for people who want to keep the country on track is that we have to firmly articulate the principles of the country. That means we have to learn them if we are not familiar with them. We have to know them. We have to feel them. We have to have faith in them. We
Mhm.
have to believe that they were founded on the right things, the right about humanity, and that they are the right thing to do and to stand for. If you're demoralized or despairing of them, you can't do that. And those people turn radical one way or the other, depending on their dispositions.
Mhm. Yeah, we have to recognize what it was that actually founded us, the synthesis of reason and faith and the exclusion, perhaps not intentionally, but the exclusion of Gnosticism and protect against that.
But you're also just going to have to bear getting called names that aren't true, and you're going to have to rearticulate and rearticulate and rearticulate and rearticulate your positions and why you're being misrepresented, which is frustrating, tedious, exhausting, and every other thing. We went through it with the left. We can go through it with these guys too.